I have now seen the proof for myself. Welcome to another video, another upload, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, and of course drop me a comment if you feel like. So as a person that took part in sports for the majority of my youth, whether it was organized sports or just with my friends, after seeing this video, which I did watch in its entirety, it was quite troubling, which is why I'm making this video today. I'm pretty sure within my viewership there are some sports fans out there, probably even some bettors. I don't know exactly who you are, but when you see this might give you a different spin or a different perspective as to what really goes on in sports. So without divulging anything, I will dive right in and you'll see for yourself. Let's go.
Remember what's going on. More and more throughout this country, gambling is being legalized.
Yes.
So you have a lot of people betting a lot of money on these games, and they see these referees, they all have, just like I have right now, they have an earpiece in.
You're right.
So they're starting to say, again, conspiracy theories are flying.
Right.
This cloud of doubt is growing over the NFL. Are these games predetermined? Or
Right.
did they want the Rams to go?
If the people ever think the outcome is already predetermined, it's over. Football is done.
And again, what did the owner of the New Orleans Saints say?
Right.
Gail
Benson.
Benson. What did she write in her response? She used the word integrity. She said this is called into question the integrity of the National Football League. Well, that's a strong word to use, because after a while, once you lose your integrity,
Skip,
you're done.
I think this.
Now let's be honest. When you go to a game, what is it that you think that you have the right to as a person who is at the game? Do you know all that you have a right to at the game is a seat and to view the sport being played? That's already been determined. But let's look at what may be going on that you don't know about.
Sports entertainment product in years. Players using an Ultimate Reception football and gloves are so effective they are not allowed in any high school or NCAA football game. Ultimate Reception features a patent-pending magnetic grip system that literally makes the ball stick to your hand. And with the smallest, strongest magnets in the world on your side, it usually only takes one hand.
All right, so subject one, what did you think about the Ultimate Reception?
It's amazing. You can't even drop it with the gloves. Just make a lot of catches you weren't allowed to make without the gloves. It's pretty awesome.
So how easy did it make it catching it one-handed?
Stick your glove out there and the ball sticks to it.
Good deal.
It's all done using a low-frequency transmitter that is integrated into the football.
This is the rechargeable battery for the device. And then here's the actual transmitter. This is the on-off switch, so we can turn it off. These are the two wires from the antenna coming up into the transmitter.
And here's the key. The transmitter creates a current in the wire, which turns the ball into a pretty simple electromagnet. This time-lapse video shows how it's all put together. The ball is deflated and unlaced. The bladder is removed, and then a wire is wrapped around the bladder several times. The bladder is put back into the football, and then the antenna and the transmitter are epoxied together to make them more durable. Everything is then packed back into the football, which is laced back up and then reinflated. The weight is within the standard deviation of accepted professional football.
It's within the standard deviation of professional football weight. So are they using it in the NFL? I'm not in the NFL, so I don't know, but I have a pretty good guess.
Ball waits, the ball is carefully balanced.
If you think about a science experiment you might have done in school where you wrapped a coil of wire and then connected the coil of wire to a battery and then looked at what happened to a compass, you're measuring the same sorts of things that you did with the iron filings and the permanent magnet. In one case it's a permanent magnet, the other case it's created by the currents, but the fields are very similar. And effectively what we're doing is we're taking the football and turning it into a magnet.
Is it just me, or have one-handed, mind-blowing miracle catches stopped seeming like miracles? No. It's not miracles. It's manufacturing. We're in an NFL equipment room. This is the place where drops go to die, where one-handed miracles happen every day. Do you know why? Because this is where they keep these new, stickier than a frog's tongue gloves.
So what happens when you see a receiver drop a catch that they should have made? Ask yourself that question while you're watching this, because we'll address that in the next clip.
The NFL is in love with the gloves. The reviewers are raving. Wide receiver Hakeem Nicks. You don't even need to think about catching it. Hall of Fame analyst John Madden. Pretty soon these gloves are going to catch a ball without a hand in them.
I think a little grip is definitely, helps a little bit, especially when if new. One hand is amazing, man. Amazing, man. What do you mean? It just sticks. It just sticks.
It sticks so often that the NFL is investigating whether these gloves make it too easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The aluminum bat of the NFL?
No, I don't think. It's an accessory. It's accessory.
It's not an aid?
No.
Because we've been going all over town, and some people are catching it pretty easy with these gloves. Like who? Like everybody. We started with the receivers at Miami's South Beach Senior High School, where we first asked them to make one-handed catches the old-fashioned way. We didn't see many. All right, High Tides, what's your record this year?
2-7.
2-7? We're going to get you better. This is our game plan. Sticky gloves. Let's do it. From here on in, you're going to catch every pass, every bus. You're going to catch colds you didn't even want to catch. This is going to do it. All ready? Gloves on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Gloves!
And then catch right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at him, 6 in a row. And if you think gloves help on the football field, you ought to see what they do often.
It just snapped into the glove, man.
Score! Score! Forget football. Gloves make everything easier.
Classy.
Honestly, sometimes you don't need to wear much else but the gloves.
Maybe they just got good hands. Maybe.
I hear what you're saying. We love all these catches. I know. But is it fair to all the receivers who came before them, who had to catch without them? The Steve Largents, the Lynn Swans. I say no, it isn't. Because let's face it, if somebody like me can do it, then you know, it's too easy.
Manning on a play fake. Rolls right, throws a deep ball down the right sideline. Odell Beckham Jr. made the catch with one hand for the touchdown. Wow, what a catch by the rookie.
Ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness. This is sick. Put this to music.
going to heave one. How in the world? Oh, my.
When I saw that catch, I actually couldn't believe that he made it. It was amazing. I have to say that. I remember that game. And yeah, that was a tough one to make. Doesn't take away from his athleticism, of course, but if the assumption that's being made here is correct, it's definitely an aid. See what I'm saying?
Goodness. I mean, he is insane. How do you make that catch?
He catches this ball with 3 fingers. His thumb, the other 2 fingers never touch the ball.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic. And DeAndre Hopkins is the man who comes away with it.
He went over the top of Tre'Davious White. Jordan Poyer came in late. He's got Micah Hyde on his back and catches it and possesses it all the way through. Look at those hands. About those 6X gloves that he wears for his large hands. How about how large and strong those hands are? You remember before this?
Now, obviously, catching the ball with those gloves, it does not take away from D-Hop's athleticism. He had 3 defenders on him. I mean, regardless of what kind of gloves you have, if you have a 3-on-1 situation, you are likely to drop that ball, right? Because of all the contact and there's other people going up for that ball. But again, if what they're saying is accurate, and I'm not saying that it is because I don't know. I'm not part of the in crowd in the NFL, so I wouldn't know. But that's what's being put forward. Is it happening? And it's a question that I think we can get some answers from if we look just about here. We'll find out about things that have happened within the different leagues, the different sports. Is very important. Take a listen.
Major League Baseball. Now, bad calls and human errors are one thing, but when it's being dictated by the league, then it becomes something else. Back in the 1960s, NHL referees admitted the league instructed them to essentially fix games by determining when and where penalties should be assessed. The book Hockey, the story of the world's fastest game, was first published in 1969. In that first edition, and only in the first edition of the book, there's a chapter titled The Troubles of the NHL that is all about the NHL referees manipulating games. The authors wrote, like most big businesses, hockey rarely is fun to the people closely involved with the game. In fact, it is run just like any other business. And just like any other business, it has its seamier side that too often is overlooked by those who are the supposed sentinels and chroniclers of hockey. Then they quoted the refs. For example, former referee Jack Mellenbacher said, anytime you got a bottom team against a top team, you were told to go easy on the bottom team. All the NHL is interested in is 2-1 and 3-2 scores. Close games mean better box office. Another NHL referee, Red Story, wrote an article for a national hockey magazine and declared, the NHL is becoming a circus and the referees are the clowns. His former colleague, Dalton MacArthur, added, all teams were to be treated as equals, but some teams were more equal than others. Red Story also said, when I first entered the league, I was told if there were any breaks going, to give them to the home team. When I was told this, I suggested to Mr. Campbell that if the home team won each game, the teams would wind up tied for first place. He said, well, there's nothing wrong with that. What they don't want is weak teams to be hurt too much by penalties. Flash forward to now, and you get referee Tim Peel saying this on a hot mic.
12:42 to go in the second.
It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty against Nashville early.
And this isn't just happening in the NHL. Former NBA referee Tim Donaghy claimed the same thing happens in the NBA all the time.
If you remember this guy's face, you remember the scandal that he was involved in. If you don't, look it up. He said some pretty wild things.
Tim
Donaghy, nice enough to join us. You know better than anybody that the NBA is the one league where everybody feels there's a conspiracy. Does the NBA encourage referees to keep games close, or in playoff series to push it to 7-6?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that knows the game in the NBA that when a team's up by 20 points, the referees officiate a different way. They start giving all the benefits of the calls to the team that's down in that game. It's called, the way to control the game and keep everybody happy, because if a coach and a player is down by 20 points and you're still making calls against them, they feel like you're embarrassing them and they get upset. So in order to keep the peace, they try to give the benefit of the calls that the team is down in the game by 20 or 25 points. And what happens is it brings it a little bit closer and it brings viewership back. The same thing with the series in the playoffs.
Is that an edict from the league? Do you feel that? Is that officials talking to coaches? Is that officials talking to officials? How does that dynamic come about?
Each time you referee a game in the playoffs, they have somebody from the league office come in and you go over the game tapes of the previous game. I talk about this in my book at length, where I was in a series in Houston when they were ahead of the Dallas Mavericks. It was 2 or 3 games to 1, and they told us to concentrate on illegal screens on Yao Ming and traveling violations on Yao Ming. And we left that meeting saying, geez, Houston's going to be at a disadvantage tonight. Not only were they at a disadvantage that night, but they ended up losing the entire series in 7 games to Dallas. So they string these playoff series along to the best of their ability through the referees by telling them and dictating to them what to call.
So you heard that for yourself. Again, does this take away from the athleticism of the player? No, it does not. Michael Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Allen Iverson, right? Both Manning brothers, Eli and Peyton, right? You've seen these guys hurl the ball down the field for a catch. So it does not take away from their athleticism. Tom Brady even, right? Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, right? We know those names because these guys were great at what they did. But again, if you're saying that these things are within the sport themselves, then what we're really seeing is manufactured, more or less. Let's see some more.
Very smart basketball. Some would say the smartest basketball you've ever seen. Somewhere inside of this ball, it's a Wilson X Smart basketball. It has something in it that talks to your devices that helps you learn how to play basketball. The way that this one works is it gives you 20 seconds on the clock. And so for every 2-point shot you make, you get a certain number of seconds, like 5 seconds added to it. For every 3-pointer you make, you get like 8 or 9 seconds added to it. And so you can just keep playing. Like you could play this all day long, but your clock is gonna run out the more shots that you miss. Bill thinks that the actual chip is right here in this spot, and it makes sense because on the other side there's the air side of it, even though it has the Bluetooth logo, but this is where it must be. Okay, we got it. Look at that thing. All right, is this it? You think that's it?
Yeah, it has to be.
We still don't know much more. When I was throwing this up earlier, the ball, it felt like it was a little bit lopsided. It seems like that's...
Now all that looks like from the outside is a valve. Wait till they cut it open.
Heavy enough to make it wobble. Oh, yes. What's inside of this sensor that's inside of the Wilson X ball?
Is?
What is it, liquid?
Oh, it's a battery.
It's having a baby. Whoa! What?
I wonder if it moves inside that little capsule.
When the ball spins, it can sense the rotation of it. That is interesting. And on this top side, it looks like it's the battery, like right there.
Yeah.
We just gotta have something to get that RFID chip.
So does it ever die?
I don't know. Well, I just chopped the battery out of it. That's a pretty heavy-duty battery. Will it run out of battery? It could. This is all the technology inside of it with the motherboard. The chips inside.
You can definitely see the chips.
To make a shot from anywhere on the court. Is it magic or is it magnets? Tiny magnets placed on the ball, ensuring a strong attraction to the metal rim. Watch. needs more magnets. Barron gets more magnets. Don't believe me? Watch the NBA playoffs and you'll see there's really no other explanation.
Now, so there you have it. You saw it for yourself. You tell me, what do you think? I think the message is pretty obvious. And as I said, sometimes things are put right in front of you and you don't see it. But once you've seen it, can you unsee it? Can you now think, well, maybe this is what's going on? And that's why I'm putting it out there. Maybe it is fixed. I just spoke about Don Lemon making the comments about women's sports versus men's sports. Yes, men's sports is more electrifying. Yes, there's a lot more that goes on in men's sports. Yes, it draws in a lot more revenue. But based on what past refs are saying, you know, things have to go a certain way for sales, for tickets. And yes, it is a business. Don't forget, that's what it is. Entertainment is a business. And that's why it pulls in so much money. So you have to ask yourself the question, are these things being used within professional sports? They're saying they're not allowed to, but as I said before, you know, the teams, they make their own rules. All you have as a viewer is a right to view the sport. As a ticket holder, all you have the right to is that seat that you go to and to view the sport. Whatever rules they decide to put in for themselves, you don't have a say-so in that. Keep that in mind, especially if you're a person that bets on sports or, you know, things of that nature. You should know. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, that's my time. I hope you enjoyed the video, gave you something to think about. I'm actually doing this while I was most likely going to be watching football and having my lunch, but I felt like this was important enough to delay it and put it out first. So again, make sure you like the video. Please subscribe. Share it if you're sports fans, you know, let them know what's going on. And drop me a comment if you feel like. I'm out.